So, a little bit of exploitation experience tonight. Right outside of the Motor City. Chalk's Dead World. Now, you hear a lot of people talking about this, but they don't really get it. To be honest with you, in order to understand Chalk's Dead World, you also had to have been knee-deep into death metal and knee-deep into hip-hop at the same time. Which is very, very... It's a weird way to sit, honestly. So, the first track, Mourning the Bodies, it comes out with this kind of like... almost like a trumpet sounding the other 6 trumpets. It comes out like that, honestly. And then, you get into that, it's very Chalk. It's usually like open note, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, maybe a little bit of 1 in there right before you pull off. But it's not necessarily about, how you play it. It's the notes you grab in between. And honestly, yeah, I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. I'm feeling cool tonight. I'm not smoking cool, I'm smoking Edgefield. $4.25 fucking cigarettes. This is all I edited. But yeah, I got a long time to talk about Chalk. So, I was about 14 when I heard Chalk. A lot of my friends were going to the Wired Frog. I was a lame ass. Like, they went to shows all the time. They were, kind of like the it crowd. I didn't say in crowd, I said it crowd. Meaning because they were like stumbling upon these new things, And Chalk was one of them. Oh, it was the Wired Frog. I'm sorry, it was the Wired Frog. And Redford. The Wired Frog was they did a lot of weird stuff. Way back when they had fucking Chalk playing. And you're just saying that alone is just like, oh, they were Texas Chainsaw Massacre, whereas ICP were more like Poltergeist. You know what I mean? They went completely just like, they were sampling serial killers, they were saying things unheard of. Like, yeah, you saw an ICP, Detroit, it's pretty much like, it's the thing here to be as gross as possible, but Chalk, a little bit more gross. Like, I read a review that said Chalk's lyrics were like if Chris Barnes had a bad day. You're talking about you're talking about a lyricist from Cannibal Corpse from like 1988 to like 95. Come on, now. Like, if Chris Barnes were to have a bad day, that's what Chalk's lyrics sounded like. Dude, if I read that, I'd be fucking like, whoa, that's making me feel better, And let's get into the music a little bit. So there's a very controversial song there. It's called Walls of the Coffin. And the lyrics have to do with children and just unspeakable things. But the music, there's a lot of pinch harmonics and like, it almost seemed like they kind of built this musical, like, pretty much like they had these musical themes that went through the whole album. And I don't know if it's true or not, honestly, but that's the way I felt, because there were some people say they sucked at their instruments, but at the same time, Deputy Stacka, I know that he did all the bass and the guitar there, and the drummer did his thing. Like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, there were a lot of double taps and they're like, and like, I don't think that they gave them enough musical credit where credit should be due as far as music goes. But at the same time, man, like, the lyrics are just so bonkers that you would easily just like, I don't care what music they play, it sounds like crap to me because they're just saying all this bullshit. But the bullshit they said sounded like a serial killer. That was the biggest thing about Chalk, is every word they said, you believed it. It wasn't like ICP or House of Crazies or anything like that. Every word that Deputy Stacka and Booble said, you kind of believe. The way they said it, the way it was presented, innocent, It was very, very different. And I'll never forget, me and my friend Steve went over to Record Exchange in Southgate and picked up this tape. And my dad, I was like, yeah, I can't wait to check this tape out. Use my phone to open it up. Push the tape in the tape player. And my dad was just like, okay. Started bowing his head to the... My dad was just like, okay, I get this. Alright. And then it ends with the whole thing like, the world needs a cleansing. And he's like, okay. I get that, and he goes, one of the bodies. My dad actually, he dug the shit out of it. He was just like, okay. And he went, But yeah, he was really, really into that, like he was definitely, for the last 5 or so years of his life, he was really, he really dug hip hop. And I liked that, obviously. Like, I'll never forget the day my dad heard Chalk. He was just like, because he'd already heard Cannibal Corpse, because I was bringing home Cannibal Corpse for a while. And I already been in ICP. So, the weird thing about Chalk and Cannibal Corpse and ICP is that Chalk did it in a way that it was so, like, it wasn't genre specific. It was very, like, very niche. Niche, I don't know what to say. But, yeah, it was, I've met approximately 10 people in the last almost 25 years that knows each other. And there's something that Chalk fans understand. But yeah, there's something to be said about Chalk that most people wouldn't want to talk about because their lyrics are so dark. And it's just, to be honest with you, it's kind of a Midwest thing. You get a whole lot of, like, darker underground stuff. Not even underground, Eminem. I mean, I hate to bring Eminem into the Chalk world, but honestly, there were a lot of people that probably copied out of Chalk that didn't even realize they copied out of Chalk. Kim, Eminem. You know, I'm almost guaranteeing you heard that in '96. He was coming out with Infinite that year. I'm guaranteeing that a lot of his influence for songs like him and Just the Two of Us came from Chalk. I may be getting ahead of myself here, but honestly, like, wouldn't you think that? If you were growing up in the Detroit area in the mid 90s, and then all of a sudden, like, Eminem goes from Infinite to all of a sudden 97 he's talking about killing his wife in very, very brutal ways. This was my Chalk video. Honestly, like, people talk about underground artists, and there are probably a very few that really inspired me. Matt from Chalk is in a sludge band called 1,000 Yard Stare. It's very weird to hear about, you know, like, if you really listen to Chalk, they're definitely a sludge band. They're not playing too many notes. It's just like a lot of feedback.
Actually, it's not really that I want to die as much as I know I have to, because I know I won't stop killing.